Meine Damen und Herren, Sie sehen Fast Forward am heutigen Freitag. Ich heiße Sie herzlich willkommen zu einer dicken, fetten Pet Shop Boys Stunde. Und ich muss mich erstmal entschuldigen für mein Mikrofon. Irgend so ein Beppo aus meiner Redaktion hat diesen Popschutz, so nennt man das, damit das nicht macht, so klein geknubbelt in seiner Tasche rumgetragen, tagelang. Und deswegen sieht es jetzt hier so aus wie so eine gammelige Dattel, das Mikrofon, ich werde es ignorieren. Heute seht ihr die Pet Shop Boys im Interview, zwei wundervolle, extrem gebildete, sehr charmante High-Tea-Männer aus London. Und am Montag möchte ich jetzt auch nochmal darauf hinweisen, am Montag seht ihr die Outtakes von dem Interview, was jetzt läuft. Das heißt, die ganzen Sachen, die so hinter der Kamera passiert sind. Meistens, wenn ich Leute interview, ist das nicht sehr zeigenswert, was hinter der Kamera passiert. Bei den Pet Shop Boys ist es extrem mehr als zeigenswert, weil die unglaublich lästern über Leute wie Madonna, J-Lo, Puff Daddy und Gary Halliwell. Unter anderem, das seht ihr Ostermontag, ne? Und drumherum gespickt ganz viele Pet Shop Boys Videos. Viel Spaß. Meine Damen und Herren, Sie sehen Fast Forward und das hier sind sie, die großartigen Pet Shop Boys bei mir in der Show. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
I'd like to ask you first, do you also consider your new album release as being an artistic break in a way? Because in the internet I read that lots of people feel that way towards the album.
I think a lot of people are surprised that there's a sort of prominent use of guitars on this album. I mean, actually, the album's made in the way we've always made albums. It's programmed, we've written all the music, but Chris decides to use rock-sounding drum samples rather than, like, electronic or dance-sounding drum samples. And I think that's made a big difference. And then we've got our friend Johnny Marr to play the guitar on it, just because it felt right for the songs. And so it does sound different. There's no question about that. It sounds different.
So Johnny Marr is a friend of yours anyway. You didn't do a guitarist casting or something for the album?
No, we've played with him before in the group Electronic that he used to have with Bernard Sumner. And he's played on two of our albums before, actually. He played on Behaviour and on Bilingual. So, and he's a fantastic guitarist. He has lots of musical ideas.
Okay. And in the lyrics, I sort of realised that, of course, they're still very humorous, but I think that it's sort of this naughty sarcasm somehow has gone away a bit. Is that sort
in the main, there's only one song that's really cheeky. There's a song called The Night I Fell in Love, yes, which is sort of confronting the issues about rap music being homophobic. And in the song, I play the character of a boy who goes to a concert in Britain of a rap star, a bit like Eminem. Could be Eminem, but I'm not saying it is.
Yes.
And he gets backstage, and to his surprise, he discovers that the rap star is gay and takes him back to the hotel and spends the night with him. And then in the morning, they have breakfast together and talk about Dr. Dre and their favourite records, and then he goes off to school. And it's just, I was just thinking about that thing of Eminem saying that he wasn't homophobic, he was just playing a character and representing the homophobia in America. And I sort of believe he does that. And in this, I'm just playing a character who discovers that some rap stars are actually gay.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought is sort of a very mean way, actually, with coping with this homophobia discussion, is he's sort of somehow excluding certain groups of people from his music, in a way, and you're including him.
I'm re-including him.
Yes, although he doesn't want to be, I suppose.
I don't know, I don't think he'll mind it. He evidently has a sense of humour, and the song is sweet as well, it's kind of cheeky.
Yeah. Okay, and sort of like the new concept of the Pet Shop Boys, I sort of think, is sort of the live performance, the album, and the new video for Home and Dry by Wolfgang Tillmans is all about stripping things down somehow, and this video fits in perfectly. Did you want Wolfgang Tillmans to do it, or did you sort of agree to somebody suggesting it?
No, it's our idea.
So you knew him?
Yeah, Neil met him. When did you meet him?
I remember about a year ago, a friend of mine, we had a mutual friend, and he said, Wolfgang Tillmans, he just won this big art prize in England, the Turner Prize, which is very, very famous. He said, Wolfgang Tillmans really likes the Pet Shop Boys because he grew up in Germany listening to them, and and he would like to have dinner with you. And so I had dinner with him, and then Chris and I had dinner with him, and we thought, it was one of those things, we thought, why don't we ask him to do a video? Because he hadn't done a video. But looking at his work, his photographs, he's a bit like us in that he takes little bits of everyday life and blows them up and gives them a kind of significance that maybe you wouldn't have thought of them having otherwise. And we do that in our songs as well. A lot of our songs are about little bits of real life and they're put against beautiful music. And he came up with this idea, this image for the song Home and Dry, where he got the image of travel and home simultaneously, because it's an underground railway, travel, but it's the mice that live there, home.
Yeah.
And they're running around the railway station. They just cuts in bits of Chris and I performing the song. And it's very, very minimal, but it's very beautiful. And sort of the more you see it, the more interesting it is.
And what I also think is the way it's filmed in a very extremely raw way would make people sick who are sort of used to these over-styled music videos, because it's so raw, like a little drunk child has filmed it.
Well, that's one of the things we wanted to do. It's really a statement about where videos are at the moment as well, because there's so many really big budget, you know, videos with loads of special effects and all this kind of thing. And really, to do something different, you have to go so far the other way. And this is, you know, it's an amazing piece of film, really. It's quite shocking. I mean, a lot of people, for instance, the record company really can't deal with it at all. They're like, look at it and just... You can see these expressions on their faces of like puzzlement and like,
Panic.
Yeah. But
oh God, but, you know.
We're going to play power play, I swear, now, in front of my audience. We love it, really
thank
do.
you.
We'll look at it now. Everybody can have a look now at Wolfgang Tillmann's video. I'd like to talk about your live performance on Saturday.
Okay.
I had spies there because I had a hangover and I couldn't go. I'm
So did I, and I still turned up.
Wow, but you're sort of... Yeah, it's your show, isn't it? I would have gone if I would have been on stage, but it doesn't matter. And they sort of told me in a very good way exactly what happened, that you played lots of new material, obviously, and classics of yours in a very stripped-down way. Again, do you do that sort of to show that songs somehow get a different meaning, can be sadder or happier in a way when you play them differently?
Well, we knew we were going to do some new songs, and the new songs have got Johnny playing guitar, so we got two guitarists to play those parts. And then we thought, well, we should do the old songs in a slightly new style with the guitars and see where that takes us. We had 3 weeks rehearsing with them. And... You know, we discovered it was great if you took a song like Love Comes Quickly, which is from an album we did in the 80s, and put the guitars on. It sounded really, really powerful. It's not really stripped down, because actually we've added to what there is there already in a lot of cases. And so it sounds more powerful. And it brought out the emotional quality of the songs, I thought. And we chose songs that had a sort of emotional quality anyway, right the way through the set. Like the second song we played was Being Boring, which is always quite... in London, some people started to cry when we played that. And
do you like that?
I do, yeah. I think the song is... I think it's a good reaction to the song.
Yeah. But what do you think, sort of in general, what does a good song do to you, both of you? What should it do?
Well, a good song, to me, can change the way I'm feeling from before it till the end of it. So if you're feeling depressed or whatever, you can put a record on and it'll completely change your mood and change the whole way you're feeling about the day or whatever. So for me, that's what a good song can do.
Yeah.
I think a good song, yeah, it's got to make you feel strongly. It's got to make you feel maybe exhilarated. And of course it depends on your mood. What you want to listen to depends on the mood you're in. Sometimes you want to make something that makes you feel better. Sometimes you feel sad, and hearing something that is sad kind of makes you deal with that, helps you to deal with that. I think the main thing is that it makes you feel strongly.
Yeah, and could you sort of describe your songwriting process a bit for me? Do you always write everything together, or do you work separately and then combine it somehow?
Well, we work in various ways. On this album, we've tended to work together a lot in the studio at the same time, which I think produces the best music, the best songs. But sometimes we've worked on songs at our own places and brought ideas, into the studio and stuff or whatever. But it's a real mixture of songwriting ways, really.
Do you also sort of send stuff with emails? And...
Oh, no.
No, definitely not.
We're not that technically competent.
Sending sound files.
I mean, I write music on the piano at home.
Yeah.
But with this, it was interesting, because Chris would be writing music and I would sit there and write the lyrics then and there. Like Home and Dry, we started to write one afternoon, and then we had dinner, and then we went back to the studio and finished it. It was all... I wrote the words and stuff, everything was all finished. And then we obviously put more guitar and stuff on later, but the basis of the song was done in one evening.
Okay, we have to have a short break again, because it's fucking music television, and then we'll be back in a few seconds. I'd like to talk about your sort of history as a band, sort of always inventing itself in a new way and proving that pop music can also be a risky and adventurous thing. If you look at pop music in the last few years, can you sort of see changes that you like or dislike? What's happening?
Depends where you are. I think in America there's been good pop music. If Missy Elliott is pop music, or that new Brandy record, which is positively avant-garde, in my opinion. I think that's great. There's been people trying to do a lot of new things in music. I think in mainstream European pop music, it's all got a bit show businessy. The boy band thing, which started off quite well. When you think about it, take that. Gary Barlow wrote the songs. They now seem like the Rolling Stones, don't they? Compared with Hearsay or Westlife or whatever. Yeah. I think there has to be a move back to pop music being creative, being a way of expressing yourself. That's why I think Eminem is really, really good, because he's really, really expressing something. He's kind of like Bob Dylan was in the 60s, and he's doing it in a new way. Pop is meant to be new. It's the whole point of it, new. Not looking back, not doing a cover version of an old song by the Bee Gees, good though that song is. And I think there's not quite enough of that nowadays.
And somebody just told me that you like Tiger and Centaurus, or what's the English word?
Someone doing the 80s cover version. I like the video as well.
What is that?
It's Western. It's Your Sunglasses.
Is that the video
I've not heard it.
With the fat lips? The lady with the...
I just saw it on Viva yesterday afternoon, actually. We're looking at showreels at the moment. I asked to do that showreel.
So you want the video?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it for you.
Good, thank you.
I'll call my security people.
But actually, I like that. They're on that label, International DJ Gigolo Records, which has become frighteningly trendy in a very short space of time in London. About 6 weeks in London.
Wow.
Without anyone ever really hearing the records. But then why spoil it by hearing the records? But there's that album by Miss Kitten and the Hacker, which is on the same label, which is a really good album. Yeah. And people are starting to talk about that in London as well.
And I always thought that when you came along with a new record, it's always, da-da, this is our new vision, somehow. And I always imagine it being very difficult for you two to sort of keep in mind what the fans are expecting from you, sort of playing the hits or not, or defining everything completely new. Is it difficult to combine those two things?
It is, because sometimes, there's some people want you to do the same thing over and over again, and you don't want to do that. They want a big, bombastic, four on the floor, huge thing, and occasionally we do that. And on this album, on this single, it's more gentle. But we like to do beautiful music as well as big, stumpy music, and this is more beautiful. And I think it's quite a different sound for the Pet Shop Boys. I think people in the music business have been quite sort of raised a few eyebrows. People are surprised that it sounds like this. Yeah. And as you said before, with the visuals, the amazingly minimalistic video, I personally think it's quite a powerful package. It's not like anyone else's stuff at the moment. And I think everyone expects us to jump on. Everyone says, what do you think of the new 80s revival? And I think sort of everyone expects us to have jumped on an 80s revival, to do early 80s music, because a lot of this stuff sounds like our early demos in the 80s, but that's not what we do, really. We don't really tend to look back in that sort of way.
It's a very strange thing that I found also on the internet, is that in this stripping things down now, what you're doing, or this whole package, isn't going back to basics, really, because it's never been like this before, has it? It's sort of, you have to be really careful the way you put it, because it's not going back, it's going
some
forward.
Some people said that, this show, the show we did in Cologne the other night is like back to basics, but for any other band it would be, but for us it's fresh, completely new, and a new experience. For instance, we're playing actually on the stage and everything, and the guitar roadie keeps coming on all the time. I go, what's he doing?
No, I keep going.
And really, that's normal for a rock concert, but we're like, why are these other people coming on the stage? It's like really funny.
Is there a fire alarm or something?
Yeah. And then the guitarists have these huge, amps, the Marshall amps and stuff. Because they make a lot of noise, and you're just thinking, God, there's a racket coming out. There's feedback and everything for the guitars, and there's but it's good then.
Yeah.
It's different and new for us.
Yes, it's not our roots. I mean, our roots is doing a huge show with 12 dancers and films and choreography. That's what our roots. That's us going back to our roots. We're doing something else out there.
But does it feel warmer for you now, on stage like this, instead of being sort of quite distanced and
yes,
cool
it does.
in a way?
Because in the past we've done shows where we're sort of playing characters, and on this show we are being us. I mean, it's just, that's it. And then we chose songs that had a kind of warmth to them as well. And I felt at the show at Cologne the other night that it was really, really warm. No, it wasn't really cosy, but it was... You could see people are listening to the material as well and taking it in. And yet they're all these mad people at the front cheering, which is great. Because apparently I said, "Good night, you crazy people." I don't actually remember saying that, because I saw it in the paper today, I said that. And...
Actually, I heard that on the mobile. Somebody was holding the mobile for me, and I heard that. Dankeschön, you crazy people, you said.
Well, they were great at the front, because apart from anything else, they were singing along to all the new songs, which aren't even released yet.
Which is very scary,
which is because they've all downloaded them from the internet.
Those fuckers.
But they've all promised they're going to buy the album anyway.
Good.
We discovered the site on the internet where we had 14,000 downloads of our new album. Which is, I mean, it's quite incredible, really.
Yeah,
you think 14,000 people spending hours downloading this stuff.
Where do all those people come from? Those internet people. Amazing.
It is. It is. A lot of them.
I went to one of those sites once. I thought, I'll have a go at this. I gave up.
Yeah.
I've got too much to do.
Yeah, downloading takes ages.
Takes hours.
Yeah.
But it's getting quicker.
But also the good thing is the quality isn't actually very good at the moment.
Isn't?
No, MP3 format is actually very poor quality of recording.
It's very sort of narrow.
No, it is. It's worse than, it's a lot worse than CD quality.
Yeah.
So,
good. And I don't want to overdo it with all this philosophical part about the Pet Shop Boys, but as songwriters, do you think it's an obligation, a duty to reflect on society, or... No, oh, sorry, I got the question wrong. Do you have to reflect on society, or is it just an option?
I think it's an option. I think it's good to write about things that are happening, to take into account what's going on in the world, technological changes, what's happening in our own life. As I said before, I think pop music is about now, and maybe about tomorrow. And it's... it's sort of more difficult doing it that way, but I think it's more satisfying, it's more interesting, and it's got to be new. We try to bring new subject matter into things. We try to write love songs that... Well, a lot of our love songs are so negative because there's so many gorgeous, positive love songs, and sort of singing "You're the Queen of My Heart" or something is not anything very new. Singing "Love is a Catastrophe" is sort of... I can't think others don't like it. And I think that's what we try to do, is to do... And then do funny songs. Even some of those songs are funny, There's not many people who write songs that have a kind of wit about them. Yeah. And I think people quite like that fact.
Yeah. Ostern ist rot und herzlich willkommen, liebe Freunde, am heutigen Oster-Aschermittwoch bei Fast Forward, der Sendung mit österlicher Freude in der Hose. Und heute, da gibt es hier aufgrund der Überschneidung von Ostern und dem 1. April großartiges Hasenverarschen. Ne? Kommt nur in jedem 33. Schaltjahr des orthodox-luxemburgischen Kalenders vor, sowas. Das ist das eine. Und zweitens rufe ich heute nochmal allen Pet Shop Boys Anhängern zu. For those about to pop, we salute you. Heute gibt's nämlich hier den zweiten Teil von meinem dicken Pet Shop Boys Interview, beziehungsweise heute gibt es die Outtakes von dem regulären Gespräch, weil Folgendes, normalerweise lohnt sich das überhaupt nicht zu zeigen, was zwischen den einzelnen Interviewsegmenten passiert ist, weil da wird höchstens mal so nachgepudert oder die Frisur gerade gerückt. Aber die Pet Shop Boys, die haben so dermaßen vom Leder gezogen, ne, das darf man, glaube ich, keinem vorenthalten. Und zwar gibt es gleich hier für euch exklusiv die Pet Shop Boys über Madonna, Gary Halliwell, Jennifer Lopez und Puff Daddy. Und drumherum kriegt ihr nochmal eine schöne Auswahl der unserer Meinung nach besten Pet Shop Boys Videos aller Zeiten. Also setzt eure Pophelme auf und legt euch schon mal die Eier bereit. Und los geht's jetzt erstmal mit einem sehr feinen Clip aus dem weiten Sektor der Mitschnipp- und Tanzmusik. Hier sind Soul Center, A Good One. Bis gleich mit den großartigen Pet Shop Boys.
What's Wimbledon?
Mitch, can you phone Peter Rosecroft and say that Diva just
oh, you're born in Wimbledon?
I'm English.
Wow.
But I don't know what the study thing is. I just found it in a second-hand shop
right,
here.
okay.
It's cheating.
Yeah. So you weren't actually at the study in Wimbledon?
No. I grew up in Germany.
All right.
We're not running the video in real time, are we? No.
No, sorry, I'm just concentrating. Where is it?
We're waiting for 3 minutes 45 seconds.
Okay.
So did you learn English in Germany?
Yeah, that's why it sounds so posh.
Having been born
You know,
in...
a lot of Germans learn English with an American accent.
Yes.
You've got an English accent.
But lots of
Much
bands,
better.
British bands, take the mickey out of me because I can't sort of talk the Cockney slang and stuff, even though I try.
Cockneys don't talk that anyway. Only Madonna talks
like
talks that.
Suddenly. Okay.
No one's as English as Madonna is.
Oh, that's
She's
true.
being English.
She's
Is she sort of really trying hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's shooting
She goes
pheasants.
pheasant shooting. Just typical English things like pheasant shooting.
No, she was in rules. She was in rules.
She loves rules. BC, don't she? Loves
Has
rules.
she met the Queen yet?
No.
But she would like to, I
No,
bet.
the Queen is...
She's probably going to get an honorary knighthood.
The Queen has
isn't she?
resisted it. She met Diana, though. She managed to dig her way in there a bit. And Prince Charles she goes to. She knows Prince Charles. She's been around there a couple of times.
Dear. Dear. That's the wrong direction, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I think so.
So did you have Brittany over to see you? Because she went to this radio station right this afternoon, and she had the building security swept. Do you know about this?
No, what does that mean?
She
The
went
new
to
thing.
Eins Live, and an hour before she arrived, 5 security people came in, and security swept the building.
So they checked the whole building for bombs and things.
That's what you have to do now if you're a celebrity. It's like Jennifer Lopez went to the most famous restaurant in London, the Ivy. She booked a table, an hour before she arrived, or 2 hours before she arrived. 5 guys arrived in the Ivy. Now, everyone eats at the Ivy. Elton John eats in the Ivy.
Tony Blair.
Joan Collins, the Pet Shop Boys. Everyone eats in the Ivy. 5 security people arrived and said, OK, we're here to security suit the building for J-Lo. And they said, fuck off. And they said, and by the way, Jennifer Lopez is banned now.
I just know this story about Mariah Carey coming to our broadcasting station. People working there, of course, in the hallways, and everybody was told they're not allowed to look at her when she walks past. She doesn't want to be stared at by anybody, although she's famous.
It's funny, we did Top of the Pops and Puff Daddy was doing it. And he was in this, we were on the same corridor in the dressing rooms, and I said, if we get any grief from Puff Daddy and his fucking security people, I'm just walking off the show. And actually, they were really nice.
And, and afterwards, he had the best party.
He invited us to his party.
It was a fantastic party.
And he was there.
He was there. And
He was not only there, he was on the stage rapping and everything. It was really, really great.
Freestyling.
Yeah, actually wasn't. It was anyway. It was a really great party. Free bar all night, like one of our parties.
But
Actually.
wouldn't you consider to do sort of, a farce of that and sort of have security checks on other
No, it would be...
for you? That would be fun, wouldn't
I mean, we arrive with entourages sometimes. Sometimes we have dancers, and wardrobe people, and the people who do the wigs, and the tour manager and the musicians. And you arrive, actually, and there's like 28 people. We did once at one point have the record for the number of people at Top of the Pops in London. But now, in the era of J-Lo and Puff Daddy, we've been... They've got it like to over 50 now. We did it with like 27 people.
You know, Missy Elliott loves doing that, sort of bringing 40 friends from America,
You know what,
flying them in.
It's a very expensive way of doing things. It's a very good way of spending all the money you earn.
Yes, exactly. Having fights with 40 people all the time.
Yeah. I think you've got to look at pop music as a creative possibility. And nowadays people look at it as a career. It may be something that, if you're lucky, leads you, gets you a job on television. You know, like the Spice Girls. You know, Emma Bunton presents a travel programme on English television. She's made it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, God, it was a bit of a more interesting thing being in the Spice Girls, really. It's a funny, I think, maybe it's a generational difference. I don't know. And also, people do things to be famous. I mean, fame is totally pointless. I once said to Jerry Halliwell, you know, Jerry, you've got to be famous for something. Not just like famous. I'm famous. Because if you're not famous for something, people will start to despise you.
Yeah. It's all air, isn't it?
It's all air, and the air will start to smell very bad if you're not famous for something. And I think that is the thing, is to be famous for achievements, to achieve things, to do new things, and then that's great if you're famous.
Yeah. And are you planning on a world tour? Is that true?
Yes, we are. We're going to do some dates in the summer. We're going to be back in Germany in June. And then I think, well, but I don't know quite when though, but I think in the autumn we'll be starting the proper world tour.
Super. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Now we can all lie down.
Now we can all lie down.